Today we go on to chapter 2 or SD 3.2 on page 19. Listening beyond the year. Okay, this is a set of 3 chapters. So if you look at the front there, you can see there are lots of small titles. 3.1, 3.2, 3.3. There are lots of titles there. So 3.1 is called the One Refuge. And then 3.2, Listening Beyond the Year. And then 3.3 is Entering the Stream. Okay. So page 19, 19. 19, yes. Right. Now I'm not going to read all these things because you can go back and read. I'm going to talk about these things. And sometimes you can highlight it or make notes on your book. Okay. The best book is the one with lots of notes on it. So if it's a clean book, that means you didn't use it. I have a friend in Canada. He's older than me. He's very interested in the suttas. He writes all over his book. And then he says in the end he can't read it. He says, you can write so many notes. So I told him, why don't you insert another piece of paper, A4 paper, and then write notes there, right? So he was a school teacher before, so he's very, very interested. He's so happy that he found early Buddhism, the Buddha's teaching. He was a member of some big Indian cult before, Mahesh, the TM, those TM things. So he really almost went crazy. When he first met me, he was quite suspicious, quite angry, and slowly we became friends. Slowly he learned the Dharma. Now he doesn't even trust Facebook, by the way. So I told him, you are in Canada, I'm in Singapore. The best way we can communicate is through Facebook. So I told him, you just try. Just a few sessions, just try. If you don't like it, then never mind. So because the Facebook that we have is specially for Buddhism only, all right, we keep the 5 precepts there, so no nonsense. So he tried a few times. After, he's very happy, right? So now we communicate all over the world with all kinds of Buddhists studying all the same texts like you, in South America, North America, Australia, in Japan and China, India, lots of students in India, and Sri Lanka also, lots of them. So they're all over the world studying the same suttas. They're all very interested in this sutta. Why? Because these suttas are the closest that we have to the Buddha's historical teachings. So the topic today, you see the keyword there. Normally the keywords be highlighted. You see 1.1, there's the word sāvaka. Okay? Sāvaka. What's the Chinese word? Sāvaka. That means listener. Listener. Because Sāvaka, Sota means ear, Sāvaka means listener. So the true disciple of the Buddha is called a listener. Right? The Arahat, all the saints, they're listeners. Buddha's time, there are no books like this. Of course, people do write. There is writing, but writing is regarded as secular, worldly. Writing was used by the king to write secret commands, because most people can't read. They were farmers or poor people. Only the rich and the powerful learn to read. And another group are the merchants. The merchants got to write down their products and their what they call accounts and so on. And religious teachings are never written down because they are sacred. When I was young, my mother would tell me, there are Chinese words there on the floor, newspaper, you don't step on it, don't walk over it, and so on, to respect learning, So the Indians also like that. They felt that we should not write anything sacred, because then you will disrespect it, But the real reason is, in those days, the teachers want the students to come and listen, because studying Buddhism is education. Remember last time, a few weeks ago, I told you education means to bring out the best from ourselves. So the teacher will train his students not just to study the text. That's the easy part, The teacher wants to make sure that the student is ready to be a student. That means the student must be humble, attentive, hardworking, good manners, things like that. So the teacher will make the student wash toilet, sweep the floors, things like that. And he watch the student, If they're arrogant, then it will take longer to learn. Right? So that's part of the training. And the monks have 5 years to do this. It's called a nisaya. Nisaya means tutelage. And the person who's taking the nisaya is called a nisita. Nisita. And this word nisita in Thai become nisit. Now when you say the word nisit, well, the Thai's eyes will brighten up. Because nisit is a big word for students, Especially university students. They are called nisit. It's a big word for student, right? So to be a student is a great thing, To be able to learn is a fantastic thing. I mean, imagine the one wants to teach you, Then you don't know so many things, For example, just simple things like how to fry a very nice kway teow. The hawker will never teach you. He wants you to pay 100,000 maybe. He sells his secrets. He won't teach you. You watch also, you won't know. Because some of the gravy and all those things he use are already prepared well ahead, so you don't know what they are, right? But the Buddha says, my teaching, no secrets. The Buddha says in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, the last days of the Buddha, I do not have the glass fist of a teacher. The glass fist, that means secret teaching, Only teach a bit here, a bit there, and there are some things the teacher will keep. Only when he's dying, then slowly he whispers it to the chief disciple. That's a secret teaching. Buddha said no such thing. Everything is over the board. Everything is in the sutras. Then there is a very wonderful young monk who's the Buddha's son called Rahula, young monk. He became a monk at 7 years old only. Every morning he will get up, he will take sand in his hand. And then he look at the sand, he says, may I today learn from the teachers as much things as there is sand in my hand. Wow, that's quite a lot of sand, a lot of things to learn. So the Buddha announces that this Rahula, among the monks, he's the one who has the greatest desire to learn. So the willingness to learn is what makes us wise. When you come here to be educated, meaning the good things in you to be brought out. It also means for you to learn what is fake news, what is fake Buddhism, and what is real, true Buddhism. There is also a lot of fake Buddhism going on, I mean, you go online now, it's amazing how much wrong things are taught there. Everything, Buddha said this, Buddha said that, you don't know where it comes from, That is why in our Facebook, most of the regulars said no. When you say something Buddha said, you must put there where did the Buddha say, the reference. Then we can check. Okay? We have to be sure that's what the Buddha said. Otherwise, we have wrong views. So here we use the suttas, we use essays related to the suttas. That is why it is very interesting to study here. I've been studying for about 50 years now, when I was 20 years old. So, and Buddhism has always been interesting to me. And these suttas that you read here, the translation has been going on for 16 years, 2002, So every 3 months you have one book like this. So today, instead of listening, we have reading, right? It's a new culture. So there are problems that a translator has to deal with. Because listening, the teacher will talk, he has a good voice. You find many of these Indians, they have very good voice, very deep, very strong, very resonant and sonorous voice. But now we have books. So we have what's called the scribal tradition. Scribal means written. Okay, so we have a new way of reading now. So you find when you read the suttas, number one, I give more space nowadays and arrange everything nicely so easy to read. It takes up more paper. You compare this to the commercial translation. Commercial translation is very compact, one volume. This one, I think, will be a lot of volumes. So you can't carry them around. But you can put them all into a little thumb drive, yes, possible. That's the amazing thing. You look into the computer, it's all there. You can easily get it. You can go to the bottom there, you can see bottom of the page, http://dhammaferra.org. Everything is there. All the 60 volumes, there are about 60 volumes like this, about 10,000 pages. I don't know how many million words, okay? So you can go there and look up yourself. Yeah? And if you want the latest one, you email Ratna, email me, we'll send you the latest suttas, okay? So Savaka is the listener. These are the great saints. Not everybody is a Savaka. Only the great saints are Savakas. So we are trying to be Savaka, okay? We are called Upasaka. If you're serious, you're called Upasaka, is the masculine word. Upasika is the feminine word. Upa is just like English, up close. Pali and English are very close, same family of languages, called the Indo-Aryan family of languages. English, French, German, most of the languages of Western Europe, Northern Europe, Indian, Northern Indian, very same family. Okay, so upa, similar to up in English. Upasaka, to sit up close. So here, the Savaka is a good listener. The follower, not yet a saint, sits up close to the Buddha, sit up close to the teacher. Well, the way you're sitting, you get it close enough, okay? Not close means you're not here. Okay? So Upasaka means you sit up close to the Dhamma. You can go back, listen. You can now, if you miss this talk, you can always go online and then watch it again. I will replay myself. I will talk again. So even after I'm dead, you can still watch me. As long as you have this video is there. You can listen to recordings, then you can read books, right? So that's also regarded as up close. But the best up close is to a living teacher in a living environment like this, because when you do this, then we also use the teaching to make us a very wonderful, happy community. You're not alone. You are feeling sad, you are not well, you have friends, you have people to talk with. You come here, you begin to open up. You feel more happy, because if you're still all alone by yourself, you find a lot of problems, And as we age, if we don't do anything, then your mind is going to suffer from dementia. It is a very great worry in Singapore, right? So you find nowadays, a morning between 4 to 6 a.m., every other day I'll go and exercise at the market area. There are lots of exercise areas in Jurong East. So I see a lot of elderly ladies, and mostly elderly people, men and women. They exercise. Okay, so and you feel very fresh after that. You can study suttas even more. So you got bodily exercise, you got mental exercise. Meditation is a mental exercise. Studying sutta also mental exercise. The more suttas you study, the more you activate your mind. The more difficult suttas you study, the more you activate your mind. Better still. If the suttas are easy, then it's not very helpful. Of course, easy is good too, but you build up into deeper study, then you understand your mind better. When you study sutta, when you listen to the teaching, what happens to you? Good teaching, I mean. Number one, you understand yourself. You begin to see yourself more and more. Those days when I was younger, I used to run courses with sometimes 100-200 people, stay in one. We always borrow a big temple. And most people would stay in, all right? One reason I wanted to stay in is so that they get a feeling of community, how the monks and nuns live together, and then get up in the morning, do puja, chanting, meditation, and then morning talk. Everybody got to sleep early, otherwise they'd be sleepy in class. I was very strict those days, And of course, although I was very strict, there are always these young people, they come not for the sutta, they come to look for their future partners. When I found out, at first I was very angry. I said, these people, how can they use the Buddhist gathering like that? Then later I thought, that's actually good, I mean, it's better that they choose some other partner from other religions, And today you find many of the married Buddhists who are about your age, they can tell you, they came for one of my courses and they got their future partner there, for which I'm very happy, of course. So there you are. The Dharma brings people together and bring happiness also, right? So it educates us, and when you practice, you begin to see your mind, you understand your mind. So one of the first things we learn. So sometimes these people who attend these courses that I mentioned, some of them come up to me and say, privately, they say, were you talking about me in this talk? I said, you are the fifth person who came and told me. That's the best answer. That means it can't be you, right? Because they thought that I am like criticizing them indirectly because you did something wrong, I said, next time you should not come to the teacher and say that, because the teacher will know you are the one. So the point is this: when you hear the Dharma, even in Buddha's time, some people thought that, the Buddha is talking about me, So they're either very worried or they're very happy, right? So this is one of the qualities of the Buddha. When he teaches, you can connect with him. So even today, when you study sutta, sometimes you can connect. Say, hey, this is about me, right? But I don't know you have all these problems. I'm just teaching, So, but you can connect. That's wonderful. That means you have found out something about yourself. That's one of the important qualities of studying Dharma. You know yourself better. In fact, the aim of Buddhism, especially meditation, is threefold: to know your mind, to tame your mind, to free your mind. These are the threefold aims or purposes of meditation: to know, to tame, to free the mind. Okay? Or you can just use one word, to know the mind also can. All right? So you do this by listening. For example, meditation, you cannot really read books, I mean, you can try, but there comes a point where you miss something. For example, in meditation, people read books and they practice, they do very well, they feel very peaceful. Suddenly their breathing seems to stop, they don't feel their body, and they get very worried. Then they breathe in and they start moving. They say, what happened to my body? What happened to my breath? Am I going to die? I've stopped breathing. That's because they read books. But when you go to the teacher will explain to you everything's natural, then you follow the steps. When you listen to the teacher, even here, like you listen to the Dharma, you listen to meditation instructions, it's like you get it directly from the Buddha. Because I didn't invent all this meditation myself. I learned it from the monks in Thailand. I learned it from one very famous monk from Myanmar. I learned from other monks elsewhere. Okay? So all these monks have learned from their teachers. And their teachers go back to Ajahn Chah, and Ajahn Chah is another teacher, go back in the forest. And then my belief is this: when you follow all this line, many of these monks live in the forest. You don't know much about them because they don't live in the city. In the city, all these monasteries are there, but then they don't meditate very much. In the forest hut disappears very fast. It's made of wood or leaves, But anyway, the monks are there. So if you follow the teacher, you go back 2,500 years, you go back to the Buddha himself. Because this kind of meditation, we can't invent. You have to somehow get the training by listening to another living teacher. That's why in the Buddha's time, nothing's written down. But today, things are written down. So you have to make more effort to study the Dharma and then connect with a living teacher, or should I say teachers. But the Buddha also keep telling us, always give priority to the teaching above the teacher. Right? Last lesson I told you that, isn't it? Because in fact, the meaning here is that you are with the teacher to study the teaching. So listen carefully to the teacher, and if you can't find one teacher, or you're not happy with one teacher, there are other teachers. So go on learning. All right, you can come for classes like this. So this also, the teacher is the Dharma in this case. All right. So what is the teaching then? Next page 20, you can see there are 9 classes of teachings. This is a traditional listing. So if someone asks you, what kind of teaching did the Buddha give? The first kind is simply called sutta. Sutta are like stories, given to us. This is the most common kind. You see the word sutta is there. Number 2, they're called geya. Geya, something that should be sung. So this one, there are verses. They're very beautiful verses like Mangala Sutta. You can sing it if you want. Because those ancient, the Buddha, the ancient monks, they all were very good poets too. Number 3 is Vyakarana. Vyakarana here are detailed explanations. Some suttas like Kama Vibhanga Sutta, they explain karma. Some Satya Vibhanga, they explain the 4 truths in detail. Those are called Vyakarana. But don't worry about this name, because when you look at the sutta, they all actually look the same. It's just a different style. Okay, number 4 are Gatha. Gatha are simply only verses, like Dhammapada. Dhammapada, they're only verses. Okay? They're very, very beautiful verses. Like, in Chinese, you have this poem where you have how many? 4 lines with 7 characters. How many characters? 8 characters. In fact, I think these 8 characters in 4 lines, they're called quatrains, probably came from India, because in India it's called shloka. It's very common, and in Malay culture it's called pantun. So this all came from Indian culture, right? So the Buddhists love sloka. Sloka is the most common poem that's used when teaching Buddhism. Easy to remember also. And then udana are joyful outbursts, verses of uplift. Usually when the Buddha will say, "Oh, look at Sariputta meditating there. See how peaceful he is." And the Buddha will say something happy, and then he will give a talk about it. All right. So this is short, just a few lines only. Itivuttaka is very interesting. It is compiled by a woman, and not only a woman, she was a slave woman, and not only a slave woman, she was a hunchback. She was the slave, the servant of Queen Samawati. Okay, the queen could not leave the palace, so this queen sent her every day to listen to the Buddha, come back and teach her. And at first, this Kujutara, that's her name. Her name is Uttara. She is a hunchback. Hunchback is called Kuja, so the name is joined together, became Kujutara. So she was at first a very dishonest lady. The queen gave her some money, so she kept some of the money, and then the rest she buy flowers for the Buddha. Because the queen said buy flowers for the Buddha, so she takes some what do you call this, commission. Then one day she saw the Buddha, she was so happy, and then she became a changed person, and then she went back to the queen and confessed to the queen, but she was very happy. The queen was also very happy because it's a very good queen. So there's a whole story about how she changed in the Dhammapada stories, okay, Kujutara, in the Samawati story. So this hunchback lady, she went back and forth to temple palace, until she became awakened herself. She also became a saint. So this is one of the rare book written by only one lady, Kujutara. So this is the one, Itivuttaka. Thus said. Okay, iti means thus, uttaka means said. Right? It's a small little book. Okay, Jatakas are very popular. These are stories about the past life of the Buddha. Right? Some long ago, the Buddha was born as a deer, born as a king, and so on. And then you have Abhuta Dhamma. These are miraculous stories of the Buddha, like when he was born and so on. I've written a book on this called The Miraculous Life of the Buddha. I think we have a few copies here. If you want to help yourself, you have a lot extra, you can give your friends also. So there, all those miraculous stories are explained, the meaning and so on. Okay? And the last one, number 9, is Vedala. Vedala are questions and answers, catechism. So 2 monks or monk and a nun, or in one case there was a nun and the nun's ex-husband. The husband asked the nun questions. So and then the nun will answer, or the other teacher will answer, like a radio show. So this is, they call Vedalas. And you have the Mahavedala Sutta, Chula Vedala Sutta as examples. So there you are. These are 9 classes of teachings of the Buddha. All right. Now then, okay, you can ask the question. Okay, what is the Ta Chang Ching? What is the Buddhist, Tripitaka? Okay, so Tripitaka had the 3 parts. It's called 3 because the 3 parts were put together probably around Ashoka's time. Okay, but in the Buddha's time, there's only 2. Only 2. It's simply called Dharma, Vinaya. Dharma, Vinaya. Dharma are the teachings, Vinaya are the rules for the monks. The rules are very important because the rules are like the husk, the shell of a fruit. The coconut, you have this big, you have the husk, very thick husk, and this coconut drops, like durian, the drops, into the sea water, and it can float away for miles, hundreds of miles, and then it just lands on the shore, get washed up, and then it will grow, right? So the shell protects the kernel. So the Vinaya is like the shell; it protects the kernel. That is the Dhamma. So rules are very important. The monks' rules. We've got our 5 precepts. Our 5 precepts prepare our speech and body to calm our body and speech so that we can meditate better, to train our mind. First we train the body, then we train our mind, then we free our mind. Okay? So that is called Dharma, Vinaya. Then later there were scholar monks, they added a 3rd section, it's called Abhidharma. This is like a kind of scientific approach to the Buddha's teaching. They tried to arrange everything nicely. You see, the Buddha gave talks, just what they call the random talks every day for 45 years. Can you imagine a lot of talks? So the Buddha will talk according to your level. So what these monks, after the Buddha has passed away, what they did was they tried to put everything systematically, So it's quite difficult to study the Abhidharma. And actually it's not necessary either, because it's like quantum physics, You should not straight away study quantum physics, you don't know what it is. You should start with general science first, all right? And general science is quite enough. So the suttas are like that, general science. Study suttas. If the Abhidharma helps you to understand suttas, yes, you can study Abhidharma. Otherwise, you no need to worry too much about the Abhidharma. So the most important part of the Tripitaka, the 3 baskets, are these 5 Nikayas. Can you see 1.6? Okay, there are 6 books. You can say these are the 6 books if you like. The first book is called Digha Nikaya. Digha means long. Nikaya means collection, or if you like, or the long discourses. Okay. Now these suttas are very long. There are 34 of them. This Digha Nikaya, we did one of the suttas some time back. Remember Aganya Sutta? It's very long. The idea of this Digha Nikaya, the long discourses, is to impress intelligent people, impress the outsider, to show that Buddhism is very deep religion and got a lot of teachings. All right, Digha Nikaya, full of stories. Nothing much to practice there. They're mostly stories. Majjhima Nikaya, Majjhima, middle length discourses. There are 152 suttas. Now this one, a bit more practical. The Buddha would teach, for example, breath meditation. There's one Majjhima Sutta only about breath meditation, M10, M number 10. Another one talks about the 4 Noble Truths and so on, okay? More details, but very focused. Then the third one, Sangyutta Nikaya. Sangyutta means connected, okay? Connected teachings. Here, the teachings are arranged according to themes, according to subjects. For example, about Devas, there's a first section, and about 4 Noble Truths and so on, all according to themes. So this is more interesting to read, all right? And then the 4th book, Anguttara Nikaya. These are arranged according to numbers. So if you like to play numbers, this is the one for you. Okay, Anguttara. Start with number 1. What is 1? 1, the mind. Right, 1, the top monks. And then what are 2, 3, 4, 5, until 11. All right? So these are the arranged according to numbers. These suttas are very short. In fact, some of them, nothing much is mentioned. First of all, the Buddha say, okay, there are these 2 kinds of good person, 1, 2, that's all. So, in other words, you must know the other parts, the earlier parts, 1, 2, 3, 4. No? Well, 1, 2, 3, Digha Nikaya, Majjhima, Sangyutta. Right? And then you talk about it. This is number 4, Anguttara Nikaya is meant for people like us, for lay people. Now, usually these 4 are the most famous. They're called the 4 Nikayas. Right? So I'm translating all these 4 plus some of number 5. 5, Khuddaka Nikaya. Khuddaka means small, the small collection. Although it is small, there are actually 15 books. They're small books. The Dhammapada is one of them. Okay, the stories about Pretas, another book. Okay, so these are later collection. Right? Okay, so these are the 5 collections. Any questions about the 5 collections? So it's just an introduction. Eh? Okay, so now in the next section, you look at page 23, section 4. Can you see right view there? Right view is very important in Buddhism. In fact, when you talk about the path, Buddhist path, there are 8 aspects, or 8 parts, if you like. The first one is called right view. Right view means you look at something correctly. You view things correctly. Okay? There are 2 conditions for right view. How do we get right view? Right view leads to wisdom. So how do we get right view? Now look at this. Section 4.1, and then you can see 13. Awuso. Awuso means friend. Okay? How many conditions are there for the arising of right view? Then Sariputta replies, there are 2 conditions awuso for arising of right view, namely another's voice and wise attention. Another's voice. Okay, today is my voice. Okay, so you listen. If you listen carefully, your mind connect with my mind, then that's another's voice. So actually, it's not the voice, the mind. You know. You can listen to the voice, but your mind is not there. There's no voice, right? That also means if you listen to the recording also helps, but you must understand, okay? So you can listen also, all right? So there's another's voice, Dhamma voice, remember? In meditation, we also use voice, but meditation is special, you know, because your voice must be soft, gentle, and it gets softer and softer after a while, and then silence. So meditation is very interesting, very different. Dhamma, a lot of talk. Now then the second one, wisdom arises through wise attention. This is something you must do yourself. In fact, if you have forgotten all I've spoken today, doesn't matter, but remember this one word, wise attention. Yoniso manasikara. I like these 2 words. Now. It sounds like some exotic Japanese food. Yoniso manasikara. Yoniso means back to the origin, back to the yoni, you know, the womb. Okay. Manasikara. Manasa plus kara. Manasa means mind. Kara means work. So manasikara means to like work the mind, direct the mind. Okay. I use the word thinking here, but actually it is more like directing the mind. Some people translate as wise consideration. Yeah? I use the word attention, right? Okay, wise attention, where you direct your mind. Take for example, when you're doing work, you try this next time. I know many of you are very hardworking, but when you do work, you say, "Oh, this is so boring." And you get tired. You just wait for 5 o'clock want to go home, right? Of course, provided you don't get caught. Well, you know why you find work boring? Because there is no wise attention. There is unwise attention. What is unwise attention? We focus on the wrong things, right? We look at this work, we say, this work I've done before, and always the same, it's so boring. So we focus on the word boring, boring. So we keep telling our mind boring, boring. So our mind also respond to boring, right? But in meditation, we say positive things. We say, may I be at peace with myself, may I be well. Those are positive things. So next time you try this, When you are doing your work, you tell yourself, this work is interesting, I like this work, and you just do it, and you find you do it, and you find that it's not boring. But boring is not the work can't talk, it's your mind that tells you. Okay, so same thing with people also. Okay, if someone boring, you say, no, it's very interesting. So you pay more attention to this person. That's called wise. That is a simple use for wise attention. Now on the deeper level, wise attention means everything is impermanent. Okay, so if you think your work is boring, you tell yourself, okay, this won't last long, just a few hours and it's finished, impermanent, right? When you are sick, you say, well, everybody gets sick, I'm not the only one who gets sick. It won't last long, health will come back, okay, right? So that's another important reflection, impermanence. So wise attention means always look into something and see impermanence. I have one friend who's very kind. He's quite old, he's about 70 years old. He's the only one of all his brothers who visits his father, who is 90 years old. So we know the father was 20 years old when he was born, all right? Quite early, a lot of children. Then he tell me almost to tears, almost cried. So, every time I see my father, he kicks me, Then I said, it's okay. Whenever you go there, if he kicks you, he's happy, fine, Then you tell yourself, well, he's an old man, His kick also not very hard anyway. And he's an old man, he's not going to last long. So I got to be with him as much as I can. Let him kick me as much as he wants. It's not like a mosquito taking blood from you, So after I was very happy. Anyway, his father has passed away, So there you are. Sometimes people hate other people, especially parents. Children hate their parents. So I tell them, I said, look, you hate your parents, then when they die, you cry more loudly when they die. What's the point, You better love them now while they last. A few more years only, So that's a wise attention, okay? You look at the impermanence of the thing. And you look at people you love, same thing also. When you love someone very much, you tell yourself, wow, even this person I love will not last forever. Then you treasure this person more. You're kinder to this person, okay? We sometimes like to make a big fuss of someone who has died. We say nice things, We put we pray and put all kinds of nice stuff and buy all those big things to be burnt. But the poor person when he was alive was poorly treated. That's quite a mockery, isn't it? So if you treat the person well when he's alive, that's more wonderful than having this expensive funeral which only benefit the undertakers. So Buddhism is about living, all right, and about rebirth. It's all about life all the time. So this is wise attention, looking at the right things in life, not the wrong things. Okay, remember the two sources of wisdom: listening to someone and thinking for yourself. Wise attention.
What about reading?
Yeah, reading is included under listening actually. Okay, reading is kind of in between. That's why reading is interesting. You can read and then think also, right? Okay, now we come to a sutta, page 24. Vijjabhaggiya Samatha Vipassana Sutta. You can see two big words there. Samatha means calmness. Vipassana means insight. The two parts of meditation. The discourse, look at the second line. Can you see page 24? ST 3.2 brackets 4.2. Next line says the discourse on calm and insight pertaining to true knowledge. Okay? Alright. Bhikshus are the monks. There are these two things that comprise true knowledge. True knowledge means the knowledge that frees you from suffering. What are the two? Calm and insight. Calm is samatha, insight is vipassana. Bhikshus, when calm is cultivated, what benefit does it bring? The mind is developed. When the mind is developed, what benefit does it bring? All lust is abandoned. Bhikshus, when insight is cultivated, what benefit does it bring? wisdom is developed. When wisdom is developed, what benefit does it bring? All ignorance is abandoned. Notice question, answer, question, answer. This is called Vedala. No? Bhikshus, a monk defiled by lust cannot free itself, and wisdom defiled by ignorance cannot grow. Thus, bhikshus, through the fading away of lust, there is the freedom of mind. Through the fading away of ignorance, there is the freedom by wisdom. Okay? Now let me explain this. Calm is when you sit and meditate. For example, you do the loving kindness, you feel calm and peaceful. And when you become calm and peaceful, if you don't get distracted, you feel very joyful. Alright? So calmness leads to joy. It's very important. Many other religions, they just stop here. They say, wow, very nice, okay? And that is God, they say. But the Buddha said, no, all this is impermanent. Even the joy that you get in meditation is impermanent. Now, when you talk like that, when you understand that even this happiness, joy is impermanent, that is called vipassana, insight, because your sight goes into what is just a surface. All right? But there is a way of cultivating more insight. So when you're meditating and then you hear sound, you say, oh, sound is impermanent. Then you're practicing insight. You watch your breath when you meditate. You say, oh, I take in my breath, then I must give it back. I breathe in, I must breathe out. This is my life, and yet I cannot keep my breath. I cannot hold my breath. I cannot say, oh, I'm going to take in the air, I'm going to keep it. You can't. If you do that, then you'll die. You take in your breath, you must give back. Even our breath is not ours. It is impermanent. It doesn't belong to us. Now, once you think like that, you begin to look around and say, wow, everything is like that. There's nothing in this world that belongs to us. Yeah, we may say, okay, this house is mine, I have this cup, I have this thing, but you can lose all these things. Look at the tsunami in Sulawesi. Suddenly, people lost their houses. In northern Philippines, when Super Typhoon Mangkut came, the whole town of Tuguegarao was almost destroyed, But luckily now they have strong buildings, so some buildings are not affected. But there's always danger. People lose things. So the Buddha says, nothing in this world belongs to you. You cannot take it with you. All right? The meaning here is that whatever you have is only meaningful when you use it. So you have two words here, to have and to be. You cannot have happiness. You can only be happy. You see the difference there? In English, this is called the grammar of spirituality. The grammar of Buddhism, if you like. To have and to be. Okay? What you can have is not yours. What you are, or in Old English we say what you be. Okay, they did talk like that long ago, Okay, that is really yours. For example, you say, I am happy. I am happy. That means, the M means like equal, I equals happy, something like that, all right? So, when you talk like that, when you understand have and be, then you understand. You want to be happy? You don't keep things. It's not the keeping that makes you happy. You may have a lot of money, but it doesn't really make you happy. The poor person has a bit of money, but he has enough food. Like in Thailand, they say, if there is fish in the water and rice in the field, we are happy. Okay, what they're saying, you have enough to eat. And in that sense, the Thais and also the Filipinos, by the way, I notice, they may be poor, but they always help each other with food. They're never hungry. Okay, so in the teaching about wealth, the Buddha gives a very interesting instructions. He says, number one, lay people like us must work hard. Work hard so that by your sweat and by your effort, you honestly and rightfully gain things. You gain what is helpful to you. That's the first blessing. Okay? The second blessing is to use what you have. That's very interesting. The Buddha says is to use what you have, right? Because if you have what you don't use, it's not yours, right? So that's why we share what we have. Because when we share what we have, then whatever we have that are extra are useful to others. And there's another saying, in the sutta, the giver is always loved. All right? The giver is always loved. Okay? So when you give someone nice food, you have many ways of giving, you give things, you give dhamma, people are happy. Then you make good friends, right? So, in other words, it is good to be rich. In Buddhism, the Buddha also teaches lay people, it is good to be rich, because if you are rich, then you can do a lot of good work, you can help people, right? Provided you do that, right? But the monks have taken a different alternative. They are the first money-free community in the world. Not Singapore, because Singapore is about money-free society and so on, right? But the monk is the real money-free society. That's how the Buddha started it anyway. So if a monk really wants to be a good monk, he will not bother with money at all. And he practices and people will support him, will help him. So that's some teaching for you. Okay, so calm and insight. These are the two things that bring true knowledge to liberate you. Now there's some details here. I'll just take a few minutes, then we have a break, okay? Look at the third line. Bhikshus, when calm is cultivated, then the end says the mind is developed. So when you learn to be peaceful, like through breath meditation, your mind is peaceful. When your mind is peaceful, your mind becomes stronger. Your mind heals itself. Nowadays, you go to a doctor, you take all kinds of medicine, especially like cancer. The doctor or schizophrenia, doctor gives all kinds of medicine. Then the doctor will tell you, you must learn meditation. Occasionally, we get people coming to the mining center to meditate. They say, Dr. So-and-so recommended us to come and do meditation. All right? So calmness heals the mind. It develops the mind. It grows the mind. Then next paragraph. Bhikshus, when insight is cultivated, what benefit does it bring? Wisdom is developed. Okay? So when you fret an impermanence, wisdom arises. That wisdom means you understand what things really are. You know things are impermanent, that you're not cheated by them, right? Like that famous story, if something breaks in the kitchen, you don't get angry, you don't scold people. Right? You say impermanent, something go piang, we say anicca, impermanent. We don't get angry. I think some of those nasty people who beat up their mates should learn this, Right? The mates break things, they beat up the mates, and then they go to jail. It's very stupid, isn't it? Because these poor mates, they leave their family, they go in the country, and then they come here just to make some money for themselves because they're very poor. And we come here and beat them up, I mean, it's very terrible, right? So it shows how uncivilized we are, right? So these are simple teachings we must learn. Things are impermanent. So if it's broken, fine, right? So we get a new one. So this is called wisdom. Wisdom means you're happy. No matter what happens, you're happy. Even when you're sick, you're happy. It's not you're happy because you're sick. You're happy, meaning I'm sick. Okay, okay, my body is sick, but my mind is not sick. Right? Remember the famous saying, although my body is sick, my mind will not be sick. Right? Because you have control of your mind. You don't have to make your mind sick. Right? You get angry, your mind is sick. You're full of desire, you want this, you want that, your mind is sick. You're confused, follow fake Buddhism, your mind is sick. So don't let your mind be sick, right? Body sick, never mind. The body will heal itself. There are good doctors. You meditate. Minimum sickness. Okay? All right, then a little bit more. So when your mind is calm, then it will get rid of desire because you are very joyful, very happy. And then when your mind is calm, it becomes wise. And when you are wise, you get rid of ignorance. This craving and ignorance are the twin roots of suffering. These two cause all our suffering. So when you meditate in this way, you are in more control of yourself. You understand things better. You don't simply want things because other people have it. You ask yourself, do I need this? Right? Or you have extra, you share with others, you make friends, you're happy. All right, those are for the moment, right? We have a short break. After then you can stretch your legs a bit, and then you'll come back for the closing session. Okay, same page, 26.
Different page, new page.
26, yeah. Okay, we do a short sutta, and then we finish off. Can you see SD? SD means Sutta Discovery. That's the name of this series. Started in 2002. 3.2, that means volume 3, chapter 2. And then 5.1, brackets 5.1, you can see the top line is also 5.1. I mean, it's located in that section. This is called an embedded sutta. Embedded, that means it is put in a short sutta, added in the long chapter here. Dhamma Savana Sutta. Pali is very easy. You pronounce it just the way it is. What you see is what you get. Dhamma here means Buddha's teaching. And then Savana means listening. Now, Savana is the abstract noun, listening. See? So again here, notice Savaka, very similar, very close. I think this one is a single N. I didn't notice it should be single N. Okay. So cancel one N out. Savana. The discourse on listening to the Dhamma. And then if you can remember, you either remember the name of the sutta, which is Dhamma Savana Sutta, or the number A5.202. Alright? So don't forget the double N, cancel one N. Bhikshus, there are these 5 benefits from listening to the Dhamma. What are the 5? So someone asks you, what do I get when I listen to the Dhamma? Okay? So there are 5 benefits. So notice the sutta, the number A5. Okay? 5 comes from the book of 5s, all 5 things. Dot 202, sutta number 202. Okay, first benefit. He hears what has not been heard. Number 2, having heard, he purifies himself. Number 3, he crosses over doubt. Number 4, he straightens his views. And then number 5, his mind brightens with faith. Okay? These are 5 very basic benefits for people like us. No? Okay, let me explain each of these. So here you are, as I told you before, this is from Anguttara. There are only 5 things listed like this, no extra notes. So it's up to the teacher. The teacher will explain it to you, okay? All right. First of all, what is the Dhamma? The Dhamma is the Buddha's teaching, right? Why I like to use the sutta is because everything is there. I don't have to, give my own talk. Because if you give your own talk, you could be wrong, you see. But once you know the sutta, you find actually there's a lot to talk about the sutta. It's very interesting. Right? For example, in the coming talk, I think in December, I'm giving a talk in the Tisarana Buddhist Association. I'm going to talk about, the title is How True is Buddhism? So that one, I select certain topics and explain to them. For example, how to believe in all these devas and pretas, miraculous stories. How do we believe in, what do they mean, and so on. So the idea is to clear away the doubt in the people. Actually, that's the 5th benefit. No? So the Dhamma is in the suttas. the sutta means thread. It means it goes back, it's a thread that goes back to the Buddha's time. So when you study the suttas, you are going back to what's called primary materials. Now if you study in the university, one of the first things the lecturer, the professor will tell you about writing papers, you must quote two kinds of sources. Number one, they are called primary sources. Primary, like primary school, means first. Primary sources means the original teachings, original materials. They're very old, very ancient. Okay, so the suttas are primary material. That's why it's so wonderful to study them. And even better still to translate them. It's not easy to translate. Right? There are lots of things to do when you translate them. Then there are the secondary sources. Secondary sources means what people write about them, okay, by other authors. Right, Buddhist books by famous writers, right? So secondary sources. So we study suttas because suttas are primary sources, all right? So we hear what has not been heard. This often said, I never heard this before, right? And something good, of course. So if someone comes to you and say after they say, oh, wow, this is interesting, I never heard this before. Take that as a compliment, all right? This is a very beautiful thing to say. The Dharma teaches us things we have never heard before. Why? Because hearing is a very important experience in Buddhism. If someone says, I heard it myself, then you believe this person because it's his own experience, something like that, yeah? So when we learn the Dharma, we learn new things which we never heard before. And these things are very true, they are useful, and they make us happy. Isn't that wonderful? All right? So if you heard it before, then you don't have to come, isn't it? As many of these things you have not heard before. Or you have not heard it spoken in this way before. All right? So these are different aspects of the suttas, of the Dhamma. Number two, having heard, he purifies himself. Okay, purify here is the mind. Okay? Actually, there are two things to purify. One's the body, the other is the mind. Purifying the body means your action and your speech become more pure. The pure here means it makes you happy, it makes other people happy, basically. All right? So, purity of mind means your thoughts are peaceful. When negative thoughts come, you know how to quickly push it away. You don't harbor negative thoughts. You know, in meditation, you find, I often remind you, smile, right? Because smiling is a very important action that pushes away negative thoughts. If you're angry, you smile, you find it doesn't make sense to be angry. You say, this is crazy, why am I angry? And anger is gone, right? We say smiling and being angry are incongruous. They don't agree with each other. So when you smile, the anger goes away. Anger is very easy to get rid of, by the way. Okay, but fear not so easy. Desire not so easy. Delusion is even more difficult, right? So there you are. When you understand your mind, you smile, you can get rid of anger. Okay, which is not a very good emotion. So you purify your mind by thinking happy thoughts, by making the mind peaceful, by preparing the mind to receive wisdom. So when you understand Buddhism more and more, then you find you also pay more attention to people. You listen to them more. You show them compassion when they are suffering. All right? So it benefits our daily life. So don't say, because I listen to the Dhamma, I become religious. That's all. It's not all. Because Buddhism covers body and mind. Body and mind is everything, that you are, right? There is a sutta called the All. The Buddha asked the monks, what is the All? This is the so-called theory of everything. What is everything? The monks don't know how to answer such a difficult question. They thought it was a difficult question. So they replied with a famous paragraph. They say, oh Bante, you are our teacher, we are your student, please teach us so that we'll know. So basically they're saying, I don't know, okay. So the Buddha say, okay, the all are your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. What you see, hear, smell, taste, touch, and think. This is the all. Do you know that in one short sutta like this, the Buddha has formulated what in philosophy is called epistemology. Epistemology means the study of knowledge. In philosophy, you spend one whole semester studying what can we know. But here in one small sutta, the Buddha said, that's all, Now, I remember I was in Berkeley some years back, and we got this really famous philosopher from UK. These British philosophers are the most philosophical. His name was Bernard Williams, a very famous philosopher. His first talk, I never forget, because people in the front row fell asleep. I was the only one who kept awake because I said, this is interesting. In fact, you hear him talking, but you don't know why he's talking. For 45 minutes. For 45 minutes, he's lecturing, does this table exist? 45 minutes. I said, what are you going to do with this kind of knowledge? After 45 minutes, you ask whether this table exists or not. And what I'm amazed is how the words come out of his mouth, Beautiful English words. 45 minutes, does this table exist? In the end, what did he say? Nobody knows. That's philosophy. Okay. So there you are. All right. But Buddhism is different. When the Buddha says, okay, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, sound, smell, taste, touch, and thoughts. The Buddha says, if anyone else try to claim that there is something more than this, which is the all, they're going to have a headache because it won't work, right? So the Buddha said, this is everything, right? So all that we are our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. This is what makes us our world. Our world are the 6 senses. 6 senses are the 5 physical senses plus the mind. See, one short sutta, amazing, so many deep things, no? So the sutta is like that. Okay, the third benefit, he crosses over doubt. So anything you're not sure about, from doubt there is fear, right? So you overcome doubt, you overcome fear also. You begin to understand better, all right? So you can ask questions when you like. Whenever you're not sure, ask questions, all right? Then number 4. Yes?
Doubt and lacking confidence. How do you put them?
Okay, they're quite different actually. Doubt is not knowing something, right? Confidence is what happens to you, right? So sometimes you may know something, but you still have no confidence. Because you say, wow, this is difficult, or this is something bad. Then, you say, wow, you are afraid of this, right? So doubt is when you lack understanding about something. And if you don't make an effort to clear the doubt, then you will lack confidence, right? So confidence is something like it gives you the effort. It's like a battery that pushes you, the power that makes you do things. You do things with confidence, right? More interesting is the difference between confidence and faith, actually, right? Some people don't like to translate saddha as faith; they say confidence. But I think confidence is not strong enough. No? Faith, there is joy. Confidence is there may be joy, but it's more like like more confidence. There's nothing much to say there really. For example, you say, yes, I can win. You just think on it, right? But then if they lose, they're not happy, right? Whereas if they have faith, whether they win or they lose, they have confidence that they can do better the next time, right? So faith is a broader thing. Another lesson we'll talk more about faith. In fact, let's a bit about it later. Okay, let's look at it again. Straightens his view. So, for example, before you came here, you may have certain things you're not sure about Buddhism, so they're crooked. In other words, so now we straighten them. All right. So we correct those views, in other words, because correcting views is a very important aspect of Buddhism also. When you correct your view, it's also regarded as something healthy, something good, right? In other words, it's okay to be wrong. Okay? We are not perfect, we're not awakened yet. So whatever we know, even now, when we know something, all our knowledge is provisional. As long as you're not awakened, your understandings are provisional. In other words, welcome change. Welcome change. When you change means you grow. All right? You know, I'm going to be 70 next year. When I was reflecting on some of my friends, some of my old friends, we keep in touch now, you know, from primary school. Suddenly they kept in touch with me and they're asking me to go for their children's wedding and so on. Then when I look at them, I said, wow, from primary school until now, many of my friends have not changed. If they are playful, they are still playful today. If they are very, grouchy, they're still grouchy today, you know. And I told myself, is it true people don't change? It began to worry me, you know. Because in Buddhism, we say change. Then I put two and two together. I said, okay, this is very interesting. I said, I realized that people don't really change if they don't know Buddhism. But when you really know Buddhism, you will change. Somehow you'll be different. You will understand yourself better, right? So it is true, some people, they won't change, you know, even until they grow old, so they won't change if they don't know Buddhism.
They change and become worse.
Become worse, okay. Right. They don't change is good, but become worse is not good, right? Okay. All right. So to straighten your view also means to change. And to change means it's good. Now look at ourselves now. Think of something you believe in 10 years ago or when you were a kid. When you're a little kid, you fear the dark because you believe that, oh, there's a ghost there, right? But you change when you grow older. See? We do change, right? And there was a time we don't know how to do something, but now we have changed, right? So change is very important. Many of our views we change. Even my views about Buddhism 10 years ago, and now I've changed because now I understand better. So this straightening of views means you are growing, more intelligent, more wise. You let go of old ideas, and it's okay to let go of old ideas. When you let go of old ideas means you learn new things. All right, you are a new person. Yes?
The Pali, number 4, this I missing karoti.
Oh yes, add an I. It's not karoti, add an I at the end. The Pali word is far right hand side. Okay, the last one, number 5. The mind brightens with faith. Notice the word brighten. If you have faith, you are bright, you are radiant. I notice some of my old friends, they really grow old, you know, because there are a lot of worries and things like that. Stress is not good. Stress is the opposite of meditation. Stress makes you feel weak. How does stress make you age faster? The scientists explain that when you are stressed, I forget that horrible word again, cortisol, yeah. Cortisol in your brain flow. That is a terrible chemical, you know. It makes you burn, decay faster. It makes you grow old faster. So that's why it's not good to be stressed. That's why it's good to smile. Learn to smile all the time. Whereas when you're happy, endorphins, these are happy juices. They flow in your brain. Then they make you happy. They make you bright. They slow down your aging. They make you more healthy. All right. So if you study Buddhism, you meditate. One day your friend look at you and say, wow, you look radiant, huh? Which beautician do you go to? So I went to the Buddha. Okay? So it's a compliment when someone says you look radiant, you look happy. So, right? So now if they see you're happy, they say, are you a Buddhist? Oh, that's even more wonderful. Okay? So there you are. Number 5 says, the mind brightens with faith. When you have faith, you brighten up, you're happy. All right? And that's the way it should be. If you don't feel happy, something is wrong. Maybe there's some doubt, so clear the doubt away. Okay? Or maybe the teacher is an unhappy teacher, you better go away from him. Find a happy teacher. Make sure your teacher can smile. No, don't joke too much though. A smile is good enough, you know. But of course, if tell you jokes, make you laugh when you're sad, that's fun enough, So, the Buddha is sometimes called Bhagawa. Bhagawa can also translate as the happy one, right? So there you are. These are the 5 things that benefit us when we study the Dharma or Buddhism. Buddhism is a modern word. Okay, the Dharma is the actual word we use in Buddhism. It means the true teaching, the truth. So number 1, you hear what you've not heard before, something useful. Number 2, you clear your body and mind. Instead of purify, you can say clear. Number 3, you overcome doubt. Right? You have more confidence, more faith. Number 4, you straighten your views. Whatever you have learned becomes clearer, becomes better. And number 5, you brighten with faith. You show radiance and happiness, joy. The last one, you can use one word, joy. Okay, so thus these bhikshus are the 5 benefits from listening to the Dhamma. And I'm sure you're very happy because we've come to the end of the lesson. Any questions? Anything you're not sure? Anything to ask, must ask me now. Don't ask when we are eating. We're going to enjoy eating afterwards. Okay, anything to ask? Ask now. Yes? No, you can still ask because sometimes you forget, and then it comes to your mind. But we always have nice food here, so let's enjoy ourselves. Oh, okay, yeah, sometimes the food trigger the question. All right. There's a lesson on food also, the Buddha taught a lot of things.
That's good.
Okay. No questions, huh? Oh, you have a question. Okay, yes.
Is there any sutta that actually teach contemplation or death?
Of course, lots of them. We'll bring a volume for you. There's one whole volume on it. I think we have a volume.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah.
What number? She can remember very well. You can remember. Oh yeah. Okay. You look at the index, the list of books here. Where is it? What page is it? This one at the back.
Yes.
This one is at the back. Second last page at the back. There you can see all the numbers. These are the volumes that have come out since 2003. Can you see death? There you are. 23. SD 23 came out in May 2008. Death and Rebirth. Okay? So that's the one thing we get for you. If you cannot wait, you can always go online. Everything is online. You can look at it online first. But we bring you the book the next time. So right now make a note. Okay, this is what we have, all these volumes. Just look at the titles. If you're curious, you want any volume, let us know. We'll print for you. We are what I call print to order Dharma service. Yeah, that's interesting. It's called POTS, no? No, PTO. PTO. Oh, PTO. Okay, PTO. Anything else? Whenever you ask questions, wisdom arises. Okay, if you don't ask questions, also good. Then we finish. Okay? Yes, so let's close with a short reflection. Right, today we have completed a study on the various benefits of listening to the Dhamma, among other things. When we carefully listen to the Dhamma, something wonderful happens to our mind. We are putting this mind to the best use to learn how to be peaceful and to learn how to clear this mind. So when we do this, then we are really preparing our mind for wisdom, which brings us true happiness. Reflecting in this way is wonderful good karma. By the power of such karma and by the power of the 3 jewels, may we be well and happy. May we have the courage and wisdom at least to aspire to stream winning, to reach the Buddha's path in this life itself. And also by the power of the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha, may our loved ones, our family, relatives and friends be well and happy too. And may those who are practicing the Dharma to see the fruit, reach the path in this life itself. And by the power of the three jewels, may those who are lost or have difficulty, may they too see the right path in this life itself. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.